Hello and welcome back to the 2019 Formula 4 Southeast Asia Championship, coming to you this weekend from the Madras Motor Race Circuit. But before we get into race 21, let's have a quick walk down the pit lane.
Last month we were in Thailand, now we're in southern India for race 21 at the Formula 4 Southeast Asia Championship. Watch this, it's going to be great.
Thank you very much, Peter. Now back up to race control to watch the start of the race. Hello and welcome back to the 2019 Formula 4 Southeast Asia Championship, fueled by Petron. My name is Aaron Thompson. We're coming to you live now for race 21 of the season. But before then, let's have a quick run down the starting order. We have Luke Allen in pole, Shihab Al-Habsi in second, Eliza Sapanin in third. Behind them, Muiz Mushafa, Yash Adia, Alice Young, Mirad, and Sneha Sharma. As you can hear, the race is just about to get underway. When the red lights go out, we'll be off. Here we go. Luke gets away strong. Shihab seems to get away a little bit faster than Eliza Sapanin on the left-hand side of your screens in the red number 58 car coming through turn 1. Now let's see if anyone's close enough to make a move. Yeah, Shihab Al-Habsi up into second, well, maintaining his second position, as it looks like Mirad are trying to go around the outside of Sneha Sharma coming through turn 1. Lots of action down into turn 2, though, as plenty of cars go every which way trying to find a way up into the lead position, as Elias Sapanin there challenging Shihab Al-Habsi for a second spot, while Luke Allen seems to get away very well. He already has a respectable lead for himself coming through the kink, as looks to me like there's an orange car trying to get past Sneha Sharma in the purple number 9. She must have had a fantastic start, because Muiz Mushafa now back down into what seems to be 6th position, with Mira Erda just behind him as they come through turn 4. The end of the first sector. Fantastic race so far, and we come through turn 5 up into turn 6 now with Shihab Al-Habsi pulling away ever just so slightly from Elias Sapanin just behind him coming through turn 6, and then the exit into turn 7 and 7B. Elias is going to have to pick up the pace if he wants to get back onto the top spot of the podium. He had a fantastic weekend here last weekend, I should say, as we come through turn 7B now with Yash Adia back at the back of the grid. As we come around, you can see Luke Allen, in fact, fantastic lead, fantastic start for him, got away clean, no problem at all. Shihab Al-Habsi had a good start as well. Elias Sapanin doing well to maintain his third position, and challenging Leo Manny just ahead of him for his spot as well, as we come through what seems to be turn 9B, with the procession leaning us down into the hard-braking, almost left-handed U-turn of turn 10 just before the bridge. As you can see the yellow number 36 on screen just now, that's India's Mira Erda as they come up and down over the bridge, with Luke Allen leading us in the first lap, just ahead of Shihab Al-Habsi in the red number 34, and Elias Sapanin just behind him in the red number 58 car. Let's have a quick refresh of the timing screens as we come past the start-finish straight and see where everyone is. But Alice Young may be the man to watch, because he's determined to get up onto the podium in every race this weekend. He had some good fortune last time around, but didn't manage to do exactly what he wants to do. He only managed to finish in the top spot on one race, but hopefully for Malaysia he'll be up there more often this weekend. And Muiz Mushafa, another man to watch in the orange number 13 car just behind him as they come through the kink. Nobody quite close enough to make a move, but let's have a focus in on Elias Sapanin in the red number 58. Fantastic weekend from him here last weekend, winning 3 out of 4 races on the podium every race, if I'm not mistaken, except perhaps for race 2 where Alice Young took the top spot. As Luke Allen, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to be determined to finish well this weekend after a disappointing event 5 here at the Madras Motor Racetrack. Luca, of course, joining us in the blue number 3 car all the way from Ireland, and he's been doing fantastic so far in the season, perhaps leading the championship standings, but after last weekend, Elias Sapanin definitely challenging him for that top spot. As they come around into turn 8 and then the left-hander sector of turn 9, which marks the beginning of the third sector of the track, let's see if we can't get some times on our screens and tell you exactly what's going on and who's closing in the gap, because at the moment it seems to be there's a well-established gap between 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, and none of these drivers close enough to make anything happen. But the lap times might tell us what happens later on in the race, and hopefully very soon we'll find out, and we'll get that information to you as soon as we have it, and then we'll continue racing here at the Madras Motor Racetrack for another fantastic weekend of double-header racing. Of course, this weekend there's 4 or 5 other championships here alongside us. We've got the MRF 1600s and 1300s. That's the LGB cars. Great racing from them, and the Volkswagen as well. Fantastic to see all the motorsport here in India, definitely developing the Asian motorsport ecosystem. As we come around turn 1 now with Luca, Shihab and Elias all pushing themselves to the limit down into the first sector of this, what would be the 3rd lap if I'm not mistaken. Luca definitely establishing his dominance here at the Madras Motor Racetrack for event 6 of the 2019 Formula 4 Southeast Asia Championship, fueled by Petron as always. This weekend, no different than any other. Fantastic racing to be expected, as it looks like Sneha Sharma goes wide coming out of turn 3. She's in a dangerous position there and seems to have stalled the car. They may have to red flag the session, because if anybody's going to go off at turn 3, that's exactly where they're going to hit. let's have a quick chat with race control and see if there's anything we can do to find out what's going to happen here in the race now that we had this small collision with Sneha. She may be able to get the car going again. Hopefully she will be able to do so and we can continue racing, because nobody wants to see a safety car, but in fact that may be exactly what we need, a safety car to bunch everybody back up and basically have a restart and get going again. Fantastic news, ladies and gentlemen. Timing screens seem to be up now. Let's have a quick check and see if we can find the times for you and see if Shihab Al-Habsi, in fact, indeed, Shihab Al-Habsi sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:38.866. That's almost 3/10 faster than anybody else on track. Brilliant from him, but he's going to have to close into the man in front of him who's 8/10 ahead of him. That's Luke Allen, ladies and gentlemen, who's been leading a fantastic race so far, and Elias Stepanin seems to be, oh there we go, safety car out on track. So let's continue down these screens. We've got, actually interestingly, Alistair Young setting the fastest first sector just before the safety car came out, and of course now everything's going to be bunched back up, so Alistair may be in a position to restart strong and try and jump over Elias Stepanin, who seems to be a little bit further back than he wants to be in this the 21st race of the season, as we continue to go racing here at the Madras Motor Racetrack down in southern India, in Chennai, of course. Chennai used to be called Madras, renamed to Chennai not so long ago, but the Madras Motor Racetrack, of course, keeping its name and its heritage. Not least of all that this track is where MERITUS.GP got their start in Asia, with, of course, none other than Narain Karthikeyan winning the Formula Asia 2000 Championship almost 20 years ago. As we come through the kink now with the safety car leading the procession of cars, as you could clearly see that the purple number 9 of Sneha Sharma still beached at turn 3. Hopefully they will cover her very quickly, but unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, the crane that recovers beach cars is a little bit slow, so we will be on the safety car for 1 or 2 laps. And as soon as that comes in, we'll get back to racing, as it looks like Alistair Young was fastest in the second and third sectors before the safety car came out. So that's very interesting news. He's in P4 at the moment, but definitely has the pace and may be able to find his way up past Finland's Elias Stepanin and challenge him for 3rd position. As we continue around the track now with the safety car at the front of the grid, of course, maintaining the track limit, the speed limit, I should say, to make sure that there's no danger for the marshals to enter the track and recover the purple number 9 car. While we wait, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a quick run down the positions as they are. We have Luke Allen up in the top spot, leading from the first lap. Shihab Al-Habsi in second, Elias Stepanin in third. As we've said, Alistair Young seems to have the pace, but he's still back in 4th position, while Muiz Mushafar, Mira Oda and Yash Ardia bring up the rear of the grid. Muiz had a strong qualifying, finishing in 4th position ahead of Alistair Young, but unfortunately seems to have had a bit of a bad start to this race. A little bit of a turn for worse for him, but don't let that discourage you, Muiz. I'm sure you're going to be back up on the podium very soon. As you can see, Yash Ardia also in the orange car at the back of the grid, struggling with pace a little bit this weekend. He had a fantastic weekend here last time around at the Madras Motor Racetrack, but this time around a little bit disappointing for him so far, but he's already on top of all of that. We spoke to him in the intermission between qualifying and race 1, and he knows exactly what he needs to do, and he's focusing on getting back up onto the podium for India as soon as possible. But at the moment, we still have Ireland's Luke Allen, the blue number 3 car at the front here. Great. Let's have a look at the safety car. The lights are still on, the yellow flags are still out, so we'll continue for at least 1 more lap. That obviously means that they're still recovering the car of Sneha Sharma as we continue here at the Madras Motor Racetrack for event 6 of the 2019 Formula 4 Southeast Asia Championship, fueled by Petron, of course, using the Petron Blaze Racing engine oil and the Petron 100 fuel as we fuel these Formula 4 Southeast Asia cars. Of course, all these cars are identical, so it's all about the racing driver. Everybody's got the same engine, same chassis, same tires, same fuel and engine oil even. And it's just completely equal, so that's why we have such close racing here and in every track that we visit across Asia. 10 events this year, 4 different circuits. We've got Malaysia, Thailand, India, Malaysia and Philippines for a 40 race championship, which I believe is the biggest F4 championship in the world. 10 events, 40 races, fantastic season of racing here at the Madras, well, not at the Madras Motor Racetrack, in fact all over Asia. We're Formula 4 Southeast Asia, and our mission is to deliver motorsport in the FIA across the region and hopefully develop some new motorsport heroes that Asia can be proud of. Of course, the team behind Formula 4 Southeast Asia, MERITUS.GP, no stranger to working with young motorsport talent, doing so for the last 30 years here in Asia. As we can see, Sneha Sharma's car, the purple number 9, up on the crane already, being recovered. I think I can see the safety car boards still out on track though. Let's have a look as we pass by the track marshal. Yep, there we go. Yellow flag, safety car still out. If the safety car is coming in, its lights will extinguish at turn 9, if I'm not mistaken, or perhaps even before then. So we will find out very soon if we're going to resume racing. If we do so, Luke Allen will become effectively the safety car while we wait for them to cross the start-finish straight, at which point they can return to racing. But Luke Allen, until then, would be in control of the race pace. I just see outside my window the start line marshals have the safety car board in and seem to be preparing a green flag, which would indicate the safety car would be coming in this lap. Indeed, I believe its lights are already extinguished because I can't see them on screen. You can see the safety car, in fact, moving away from the grid, and Luke Allen, of course, holding them all up as he would want to do to control the pace. And he's going to get on the gas whenever he feels like it, perhaps on the exit of turn 10, hit it through turn 11, get a perfect line down through turn 12 and cross the start-finish line, hopefully with a fantastic restart. But you can see Alice Young, as we spoke before, had some pace, one of the fastest men on track. Maurice Mashaffer want to look out for as well. And of course, you can never discount the Finn, Elias Sapanen. He's just behind Oman's Shihab Al-Habsi, who was fastest in qualifying. Who was fastest in free practice, but lost out in qualifying to Luke Allen. So all of these young men and women ready to go racing very soon, and I'm sure they'll give us something to watch. As you can hear them already start to go. Looks like Lucas put the throttle down. They're up over the bridge. They're down the other side through turn 11. Everyone seems to have restarted perfectly as we come down through turn 12 now with the blue car. Number 3 of Luke Allen just ahead of Shihab Al-Habsi as they cross the start-finish straight. Once again here with the Madras Motor Track, which seems to have 10 minutes or 9 minutes, 15 seconds left on the board as we cross the line with Maurice Mashaffer Yash Adia going around the inside of Mira Erda through turn 1, down into turn 2 now. Doesn't seem like anybody was close enough to make a move coming through the first sector, perhaps under braking down into turn 4, but we know from the drivers from the last event that's a very difficult corner to overtake at, because apparently you can brake very late and there's just no space for anybody to get past you if you time yourself right. But nevertheless, I'm sure they're going to give us something to watch as Maurice Mashaffer in the orange number 13 on screens at the moment dives down into the second sector of the lap, starting with turn 4 now, the right-handed turn 5, as we continue racing here at the Madras track down in Formula 4 Southeast Asia 2019 Championship, with Luke Allen back at the front of the grid in the blue number 3 car, where he has been all race. Fantastic race for him so far. Of course, the young man joining us from Ireland for the 6th time this year, while Yash Adia from India, a little bit further back than he wants to be. He's back in 6th position at the moment. He's got to get past Maurice Mashaffer and work his way up to the front of the grid if he wants to get into the podium celebration for this race. But Luke Allen, unfazed by any of that as he continues to leave us around at the front of the pack. He's got Shihab Al-Habsi in his mirrors, but he's not letting that bother him as they come through 9B down into the hard braking of turn 10. Turn 10. Interesting braking corner here. Turn 10, you brake about halfway through the corner, so it must be a lot of fun. This track, the drivers showed you seem to love it. Although we would prefer some more overtaking action, but nonetheless, watching the leaderboards is still fantastic. Good to see them all knocking each other's time down as much as they possibly can as we continue to race here at the Madras Motor Racetrack for Event 6 in the 2019 Formula 4 Southeast Asia Championship, with Elias Sapanen on screen in the red number 58 at the moment. The Finn trying to catch up to Oman's Al-Habsi, who just seem to be knocking away the leader's time at the moment. Let's have a refresh of our timing screens and see what information that gives us. Here we go. Just give it a moment as it loads back up. Nothing yet. Not to worry though. It will refresh in just a moment, and we'll soon know exactly what's happening here on the Madras Motor Racetrack for Event 6, Race 1 of the 2019 Formula 4 Southeast Asia Championship. Coming into the second sector of the lap now, Luke Allen still in first position, trying to hold off Shihab Al-Habsi. Maybe a little bit wide through turn 5 there. Shihab seems to be a little bit cleaner, but not to worry. I'm sure Luca knows exactly what he's doing. Definitely knows better than me, so I shouldn't be trying to tell him otherwise as they come through the exit now of turn 7, up into the little kink there. That's 7B, down into turn 8, which is a little bit of a long straight down into turn 8. It seems like Maurice Mashaffer might be catching the man in front of him, the purple or pink number 22 of his compatriot Alistair Young. Let's have a look at the times. Luke Allen does his personal best at 1:38.999, and Shihab Al-Habsi does a 1:38.945. So Shihab definitely a little bit faster. Those two drivers, the only two in the 1:38s. But we've seen these cars get down into the 1:37s. A little bit cooler now, though. That might be affecting times. But the tires should be able to cope, and we should be coming around very soon to see if we can get down into the 1:37s. That'd be great to see. And Luca goes fastest of the race so far in the second sector, while Elias Sapanen goes fastest in the first sector. So everybody pushing to the limit now in these Formula 4 SEA race cars. We'll soon have a refresh of the times, as it seems like Yash Adia in the number 17 at the back of the screens goes very wide on the exit of turn 11. That is going to compromise his time and his charge towards the Malaysian in his towards Malaysia's Muiz Mushafir in the orange number 17, just ahead of him. Of course, we saw Yash very competitive last weekend. This weekend, not quite where he wants to be, but I'm sure he'll be climbing the leaderboards sooner than later. Of course, you can see the gap now between himself and Muiz. That's the two orange screens, two orange cars at the back of your grid. Obviously, substantially increased by that little detour on the exit of turn 12 from Yash. Beginning of this lap, or the end of last lap I should say, is Luke Allen. You can see the gap between himself and the two red cars behind him does seem to be closing. Luke does a 1:38.693, fastest lap of the race last time around, finding his time in the second sector and setting his personal best in the third sector, so good for him. But Elias Sapanin going fastest in the first sector, that's where they are now. They just went past that, so they're coming in the second sector at the moment, about to cross into the third sector. So very soon we'll have more lap times for you to tell you exactly what's happening on the track. But the top three drivers separated by 0.2 of a second. The top three drivers separated by 0.3 of a second through this race, and you can see the gap between Luca Allen and Shihab Al Habsi. That's the blue car at the front of your screens, and the red car on screen at the moment is definitely closing, at least to the naked eye. Let's have a look as they come across the start-finish line. What's going to happen this time around? Can Shihab find his way past the Irishman at the front of the grid, who may be leading the championship as we come down for yet another lap here at the Madras Motor Racetrack, down into turn 1. Nobody close enough to make a move, but under braking into turn 2, you might say Shihab trying to make a move. Can he do so? Let's have a look down at turn 2. Follow this car, the red number 58 car. Is he close enough to make a move? Nobody quite is, though. And unfortunately, the Muiz Mushafir, who's definitely closing in on the pink car of Alistair Young just ahead of him, not close enough to make a move either. But in the coming laps, we'll definitely see what happens, as we'll have a lot more racing, another 4 minutes to go. That's easily 3 laps here at the Madras Motor Racetrack as we continue racing with Luca Allen in the blue number 3 car at the front of your grids, coming into the second sector of the lap, down into turn 4, braking hard through turn 5. And you can see how close Shihab Al Habsi is now to the man in front of him, all over the back of that car. He's going around the outside of Luke Allen, coming into turn 7. Fantastic racing there, as Luke Allen seems to be dropping back just slightly. Maybe he compromised his exit, maybe he's having a problem. We'll have to find out. He definitely seems to be having a problem, because Elias Sapanin all over the back of him now. That's terrible news for Ireland as Shihab Al Habsi comes down into turn 8. You can see Elias is sliding past Luke Allen into the turn 8 as well. Some terrible news for Ireland and for Luke Allen, as Alistair Young is just behind him. Might be good news for Muiz Mushafir, though. It might be a good move for Alistair Young now, who's going to be sandwiched, who's going to have a breaker from Muiz Mushafir, but Muiz gets around the blue number 3 car as well. Definitely a problem there for Luke Allen. Terrible news for him. I'm sure we'll see him duck into the pit lane. Unfortunate news for him. He may still have done enough laps to qualify for the reverse grid for the next race, but we won't know about that until after this race is over, as now Shihab Al Habsi leads the pack. And you can see the gap between Shihab and Elias is quite substantial, with 2 or 3 minutes left on the timing board. There may be not enough time for Elias to make a move on the man who is now leading the race, as Alistair Young is in 3rd position just behind the fin and is going to start challenging as well. But Muiz Mushafir in the orange number 13 in 4th position. Of course, these two Malaysians are friends off the track, but on track is all racing. So Muiz is going to be all over the back of that pink number 22 car as soon as he can be, trying to find his way up into 3rd position. But at the moment we have Shihab Al Habsi, Elias Sapanin and Alistair Young. 1, 2, 3. We've got Shihab doing a 1:38.894, a 1:40.106 and a 1:39.346 from Elias and Alistair. That's because they were struggling to get past Luca, who was still trying to defend. Let's have a look, see if Luca came into the pit lane. I didn't notice it timing down, and he hasn't seemed to have clicked at the pit entrance, so he may still be on track, maybe trying to finish in the top 5 with 1 or 2 more laps to go. Last lap board outside my window now, so that means 2 more laps. We're going to come around, and then we'll have the checkered flag the next time around. So on screen we've got Alistair Young at the moment in the pink number 22, back to the front of the grid though now. That's Alistair Young trying to catch up to what would be Elias Sapanin in the fin in the red number 58 car just ahead of him as they come through into the third sector of the race, cut there at turn 9, where you can see all the cars going very wide using the service road, the absolute maximum amount of space possible here at the Madras Motor Racetrack as we continue to go racing here in race 21 of the 2019 Formula 4 Southeast Asia Championship, with Shihab Al-Habsi currently leading the race in the red number 34 car, coming around turn 12 at the moment, about to cross the start-finish straight. Will be interesting to see his lap time. Has he slowed down to try and conserve his tyres for the next race, or is he still pushing to keep Elias Panin behind him, because you can never let up and you can never you can never count out Elias Panin in his red number 58 car, who's been a force to reckon with all year long, and especially last weekend as we continue to race through turn 2 at the moment, down into turn 3 now with Shihab Al-Habsi still at the front of the grid in the red number 34 car. Let's see if we can't get the timing screens refreshed and find out what times we've done the last time around. Looks to me like we got a 139, a 139, and a 139, so all three drivers perhaps slowing down slightly to conserve their tyres. We're on the last lap now. I can see them preparing the checkered flag, so there really isn't much point to push at the moment, because the gap between first and second is just too substantial. But between second and third, Alistair Young may be able to pull something off as they cross the start-finish straight, though there was 6/10 between the two, so perhaps he is just outside of striking distance, as Shihab Al-Habsi now taking us home through the second sector down into turn 8. Hard right-hander followed by the hard left-hander of turn 9, which marks the beginning of sector 3 here at the Madras Motor Racetrack. You can see the red car of Shihab Al-Habsi at the front of your grids now. He's got to be very happy indeed. Fantastic news to him that everything went wrong for Luke Allen at the end of this race, although of course our island's favourite son did not deserve it. He had driven fantastically, strong start, didn't worry about anything, he managed to keep himself up in first position, setting in fact the fastest lap time, if I'm not mistaken, before something went wrong for him down through the second sector at turn 5. Unfortunate news, but Shihab Al-Habsi's got to be very happy. You can see him celebrating as they cross the start-finish line.
Yeah, I had a good start. I tried to go around the inside a bit, but it didn't work out because it's really hard in this track and it's really bumpy. So, yeah, I'll try to keep consistent start and to make another good start next time. For race 2, it will not make a big difference, but race 3 will make a massive difference from driving really hard in first races. So yeah, race 3 I think will be very challenging with all tires. So yeah, we should keep it safe and continue forward.
No, really, I got quite a good start. Then I tried to go around the outside of Shihab, but then it's nearly impossible.
I cooked my rears pretty well before on the safety car restart, and I made a couple mistakes there. So I knew the pace wasn't there within the tyre because there just wasn't enough grip. So I decided just to sit behind Elias, and luckily Luca had problems. Luckily for me, unfortunately for him, but got a podium in the end. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I think it's my second time on pole. Obviously, I'm not as fast as them, but I'm learning. I have improved a lot compared to before. So my target is just gonna be that at least I can stay with the pack throughout the whole race and just keep learning from them. And by the end of the weekend, I think I can just do better, and I can stay with the pack at least this time.
For me, folks, really that's the end of the race. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.